girl apart from hugging her, and but at the same time keeps turning up in dreams as some kind of mad surgeon figure, or as a Satanist, or as some one colourful figure or another. But I'd like to stay on the fence as to whether she is really suffering from some disorder arising from real childhood abuse, or whether it's just a purely imaginary thing.
We should use this opportunity of making a film to be able to get to a broad audience, to draw in people to Marillion that normally wouldn't go out and buy our albums.
Brave is probably the most complicated album we've ever had to try and recreate, in terms of there being so many different layers and textures. I mean, there's a lot of guitar parts, a lot of the songs, lots of different layers of keyboards. Where maybe on our previous albums we've kind of held back a little bit from going over the top in terms of more than 2 guitar parts, not really, but on this album some tracks is like 8 or 9. So it is a problem when you're trying to recreate that. And using the technology at our disposal, I mean, it's sounding pretty good, actually. It's going to sound different to the record, but it's going to be very exciting.
There's so many little sound effects on the album that, you know, like all these little voices and stuff. Like, so we've, you know, the baby crying. Is that a bit loud? It's your turn to feed the baby in. Oh yeah. Steve's little boy, and then we've got...
What's a brave, brave girl?
That's Steve's little girl.
Curly, whirly, whiskers, boy.
That's my 2. There's loads more.
What a brave, brave girl.
That was somebody that was working at the chateau when we were recording. So, but basically this is part of one of the songs. But obviously to reproduce that sort of thing live, if we want to get all those little sound effects and noises and stuff happening, that's the only way to do it, is to sample them. But we've also done stuff like sampled voices, you know, which is Steve singing, because he's singing something else at the same time, so it would be impossible for him to do both.
This is reality. Do my washing before I go back to America.
Explained, very complex piece of music to play in terms of how much is going on, and we all felt very strongly that we didn't want to get a sixth silent member of the band to come in and stand behind a curtain, you know, and play things out of the back without anybody knowing. I can feel the difference between on stage with 3 geezers that he's paying to do that album and that tour, and U2, when there's 4 of them. They've been at it for a long time. It's come up, it's evolved. They have sole responsibility, split between the 4 of them, for their music, their performance, and their business decisions. And you're actually looking at the animal that is the reason that you're there, rather than looking at the animal and a whole lot of periphery things that are propping it up or helping it out in some way. It puts much more responsibility on us, because we've sort of become all singing, all dancing, and you know, and like Pete's playing bass, but he's also triggering samples from foot pedals. I'm shaking tambourines, playing keyboards, singing, and, you know, playing bad guitar. And
the whole album's on these pedals, really. We just mime.
thing about Spain or Barcelona, and the same thing about Milan, are that they're key cities in countries that we might not be able to tour completely because it costs too much money.
Yeah, Italy, the touring style, the voltage goes up and down all over the place. And not only that, but the promoters are all mafia. So, you know, they're all trying to kill each other. You know, the one guy who actually promoted some gigs lost some money or something and ended up having to run away and leave the country because they were going to kill him. You know, and it's like...
They're lovely people, they are. You get one or two of them, they're fantastic. You get more than two and it becomes a riot, really.
One of these. You know, messing about with all that small stuff, we want a big one like this. You should see how big this camera is. It's big. It's big.
Well, there was that gig in Brazil where the shower was actually live, and they'd realised that, so they taped it up. So the actual shower head, you know, as you get these metal goosenecky kind of shower head, that was all covered in insulating tape. The idea being that you'd get hold of the tape and it wouldn't kill you. Right, but if you touched any of the metal bits by mistake, it was like, bam! You know, I'm standing in the shower thinking, you know, you turn it on and it was tingling as you were turning it on through the tape. You know, and they don't change it, you know, and then they give you a guest book to sign, you know, and they expect you to say, really enjoyed being out, fix the fucking shower, you know? Somebody's gonna die. Lots of love, Steve.
Do an awful lot with the guitar texturally, and I think that's one of the things that we've always had, hopefully, in our songs. You know, those changes of mood and texture. So far so good. We're nearly there on most of the songs. It's just a couple of things. Brave, chaps are trying to learn at the moment, really. And Made Again, the last track on the album, we haven't even played yet. So we might actually give that a go for the first time later on.
We are really very much a live band, and usually it's 2 years between albums, and that 2 years is usually extensive touring. Really, the world... You know, a year isn't long enough to record an album and tour the world. We love touring, and we're chomping at the bit at this moment in time to get out on tour.
That's right. I think, you know, the reason why we're all in the group is so that we can play our music to people, as opposed to, you know, 4 walls or whatever. It's great when you can actually see the reaction of an audience immediately. You know, that is really something special.
I think it's going to be a challenge to both the audience and us, because the plan is to walk on stage and play Brave in its entirety.
The album tells a story. It would be madness to intercut that story with other songs from the past, you know, from previous albums.
To anybody that's into the band but maybe hasn't actually bought Brave yet, it's going to be quite a challenge for them to listen to 73 minutes of new music. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes down. But it's what we intend to do.
And if anybody's still left at the end, we'll play some more.
Mike Hunter. Father Christmas in his spare time.
It's about, I'm going to be obscene, so you can't ever use it.
Go on then.
Twat.